So more details are coming through on the Stoneybatter Dublin slashing attack that occurred yesterday. There was a lot of speculation. People were waiting for certain details to be confirmed before they made further comments on this particular case. Well, today being Monday, more details have actually emerged and confirming what some people may have suspected. And also, the response of the government justice minister is quite frankly shocking. So let's see what information we have. This is being reported out this morning. Gardaí have confirmed that the suspect was not known to the guards, says Justice Minister. Now, this is an interesting report. Look at the language of this report very, very carefully. Minister for Justice praised the guards for their response to the incident. Now, as this unfolds, listen to the rhetoric that's being used by the so-called Justice Minister. The man arrested in connection with an attack in Dublin city centre yesterday in which 3 people were injured was not previously known to Gardaí and was not seeking asylum or international protection, the Minister for Justice has said. A man in his 20s remains in Garda custody following the attack in Stoneybatter. So look at the language. It said he wasn't previously known to the guards. He wasn't seeking asylum or international protection. That's the first layer of comment. But if you get through into more depth on this one, 3 men aged from their mid-20s to mid-40s were attacked by the man and sustained what have been described as slashing type injuries. I saw a picture of one of the guys that was attacked and his throat was badly cut at one side. Very, very badly cut. He was taken to the hospital and he was stitched up again. Could have been fatal very, very easily. The cut had been a bit deeper maybe, or a bit higher or a bit lower on his neck. He could have been dead today. Could have been talking about fatalities. So thank God nobody actually died in this, but 3 people were slashed and taken to hospital. Speaking on RTE's Morning Ireland, Minister Jim O'Callaghan said that it is understood the man is homeless and originally from South America. So he's not seeking international protection, but he's homeless and he's from South America and he's wandering the streets of Dublin, slashing residents. Now listen to this. He said the man hadn't really been brought to the attention of the Gardaí before, although there was some minor interaction, I think, in 2023. This is the so-called Justice Minister, Jim O'Callaghan, saying that he wasn't known, he wasn't in the international protection system, which he wasn't. But he was South American, he was homeless, and he thinks there had been some minor interaction, I think, in 2023. Define minor interaction, Jim O'Callaghan. Surely as the Justice Minister, you would have this information to hand. Surely you would be fully briefed by the guards as to who this man was and what his background was if they'd had a minor interaction, I think, in 2023. This is gross incompetence at best, or a cover-up at worst. We just want to know the truth, O'Callaghan. Surely you have it. Surely you have that information. But the information that's been brought to my attention is that this isn't a person who was seeking international protection or had been granted international protection. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether he was seeking international protection or not. The guy was homeless. He was walking the streets of Dublin, slashing residents, and you think he might have had some kind of interaction, minor interaction with the police 2 years ago? This is 2025, and he's still walking the streets and now slashing Irish people. That's my assessment, says O'Callaghan. Looks like this joker's going to be as bad as, if not worse, than that misfit Helen McEntee. The minister said it was a shocking experience for people in the area and horrific for the 3 men brutally attacked. Yes, it was. We can agree on that one. He said it could have been a lot worse and praised the Gardaí, in particular the Garda who arrived there first and apprehended and disarmed the individual concerned. But also the Gardaí got there very quickly, and had they not, I fear we could have been talking about something much worse this morning rather than the 3 serious injuries that took place. Yes, fair play to the guards who arrived quickly and disarmed this man, but have you ever heard of the expression prevention is better than cure? This is a homeless South American walking the streets of Dublin with a blade, slashing people indiscriminately, we're led to believe, and had a minor interaction 2 years ago. So maybe the guards didn't need to be there in the first place. Maybe if this South American homeless man who had a previous history, he thinks, with the guards, this wouldn't have happened at all. The minister said the attacks were random. That's just as bad. That means that guy could have been walking around anywhere at any time over at least the last 2 years and have done this to anyone. What appeared to happen is the individual went along the streets. The 3 locations were Oxman Town Road, Carnew Street and Niles Street, and the 3 men who were attacked were just unfortunately in a position where the person was passing by at the time, and it was horrific for them. What if that had been a child? What if this maniac had decided to take his blade or his implement to a child or a baby in a pram? It was a random attack. These men were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. What if that had been a mother with children? What if that had been kids out playing? Unfortunately, they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. No, unfortunately, this maniac shouldn't have been here in the first place. Disgusting spin from the so-called Justice Minister O'Callaghan. Shame on you, man. He added, obviously, the people of the community and throughout Dublin are very scared about this because they're just wondering, is this something that could happen to them? And why would they be thinking that, O'Callaghan? Did people think that 30 years ago in Dublin? Did they think that 20 years ago in Dublin? Were people sitting quaking in their boots, wondering if they were going to be slashed randomly? Yes, crime has always existed. Yes, there's always been attacks, but not the way they are now, and not with this level of fear and trepidation in communities. People worried, wondering, is this something that could happen to them? Well, why don't you reassure them that, for example, homeless South Americans who have already had a history 2 years ago, maybe, in your words, with the police, won't be allowed to stay in Ireland and walk the streets? Would that not help? People, they're walking around their neighbourhoods. I think it's important to emphasise, although it's not unprecedented, attacks like this are highly unusual, are they? The news was rife yesterday with violence in and around Dublin and certainly in Ireland, yesterday alone. O'Callaghan said he's satisfied with the response of the guards, saying we can never have too many gardaí, but it's not feasible to have a gardaí in every street. No, it's not. But it is feasible to stop people entering and remaining in this country when they have no job and no home and they have no business being here. That's not unfeasible. Speaking on the same programme, Social Democrats TD Gary Gannon described the incident as terrifying and a tragedy. He said that what happened yesterday was completely random. Local people had highlighted there was tension in the area and that they didn't feel safe. So it had already been highlighted in this particular area that there was a feeling of threat. The people felt unsafe. This was already highlighted in that area. And yet this went ahead. He said what he described as far-right agitators tried to use the incident to advance their own position, claiming the suspect was somebody who may have been in the international protection system. Shame on you for saying that. Far-right people trying to advance their position. No, not far-right people trying to advance their position. Normal people calling out the disgraceful state of affairs in Ireland at the minute when it comes to policing and safety and justice. And well, answer the question. What has this got to do with right and left? What has this got to do with politics, period? A homeless man from South America attacks 3 people, could have been fatal, could have been women, could have been children, has a history. The Justice Minister thinks there could have been a history, thinks something might have happened in 2023, and the community are highlighting that there's tensions. That's not far right. That's calling a spade and speaking the truth and giving facts. Don't run from the truth. The truth can withhold scrutiny. Lies cannot. Cover-ups cannot. Disgusting state of affairs altogether, and I'm sure more of this will unfold in the next day or two, and if it does, I'll most likely bring an update on it. But for now, if you like the content, share it, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. I'm Rick Munn, No Risk, No Reward Media, over and out.